If you're curious to hear a little music from our guest Carla Lucero, who we spoke to in our most recent episode, check out E4TT's annual concert of music by women and non-binary composers, Midnight Serenades, on January 25th. Welcome to For Good Measure, an interview series celebrating diverse composers and other creative artists, sponsored by a grant from the California Arts Council. I'm Nanette McGuinness, Artistic Executive Director of Ensemble for these times. In this week's episode, we continue our Da Capo Conversations, a mini-series where we'll be giving familiar segments a topical twist. Today, we revisit Vivian Fung's and Chelsea Hollow's perspectives on being a mother and an artist. Here's what Vivian Fung had to say.
Well, I have a son now who's 6, and this is gonna date me. But I had my son when I was 40, so I was talk about late bloomer. For a long time I didn't want to have children because of the quote that you just read. But things change. You meet a partner, and your priorities start to shift. And I have to say, motherhood, and this is, I like to talk about it because it's still very much taboo, has been a burgeoning of creativity for me because you're no longer focused on me. It's not about me, and it's not about it's about, making the world a better place for your child, for your children. And that really puts a different perspective on everything, and it puts a different lens on everything, and it becomes so, nurturing, and that you're not just nurturing one person, you're nurturing this community, right? And because it does take a village, and it also makes you think about, your impression, your influence on other people. And so composition is a means for me to do that, I think. And it's beautiful because a lot of the compositions that I've done subsequent to that has been through the eyes of my child. I've composed a piece called, it was just performed with the Albany Symphony, A Child's Dream of Toys. And it's about journey, and it's all fast music, I think since having my child, actually my creativity and my output has actually really increased, and I compose more quickly and with bursts of energy that I've found that I didn't even know that I had before, so it's been really quite wonderful for me. Not to say that everything is wonderful about having children, and I wouldn't say, to have children just because you want to be creative, right? But that's a different thing. But I think that for me, it's just, it's the opposite of what I was led to believe. That once you have children, that's the end. For me, it was really a beginning of another chapter.
Here's what Chelsea Hollow had to say.
How has it not? I feel like certainly not everyone needs to be a mother to learn the things that I have learned, but for me, I just cannot imagine the growth and the depth of life that I have learned to accept. I had a lot of guards up. I had a lot of boundaries, and I didn't realize them until I really surrendered to the vulnerability of being a parent. I think on so many levels that just happened for me as a mother, but I really wasn't expecting the amount of deep connection to an authentic performance that I really feel like I'm able to have now. Being a mother has given me tons of that. Not to mention just being able to get stuff done. Moms are very busy. And I don't know how I used to spend my time, but I find that now I'm able to get done in 15 minutes what used to take me a day to a week to do. It's mind-boggling how I can practice and learn an aria in 20 minutes while attending to my daughter, who's playing Legos on the floor right next to me and playing the keyboard as I learn, new melodies. But it just happens, and I don't know how I would have learned that otherwise.
Thank you for listening to For Good Measures Da Capo Conversations, and a special thank you to our guests for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast by clicking on the subscribe button and support us by sharing it with your friends, posting about it on social media, and leaving us a rating and a review. To learn more about E4TT, our concert season online and in the Bay Area, or to make a tax-deductible donation, please visit us at www.e4tt.org. This podcast is made possible in part by a grant from the California Arts Council and generous donors like you. For Good Measures produced by Nanette McGuinness and Ensemble for These Times and designed by Brennan Stokes, with special thanks to co-producer and audio engineer Stephanie M. Neumann. Remember to keep supporting equity in the arts and tune in next week for Good Measure.